Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff Whiting from StageRight Software, and welcome to this webinar, an introduction to StageRight. So you may have just gotten it for the first time and you're trying it out. And I'm going to walk you through the software, show you a little bit how it works so you can kind of get familiar with it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So I'm using this on my computer, but you could also be doing it on your iPad as well. All the features, work the same essentially. When you first open up the app, you'll notice on the left side, these are all the productions that you have. So as you do more and more, you'll have a big list of shows there. You can edit, you can make favorites. So you can edit your favorites by doing that and adding a little favorite. Otherwise, it's in alphabetical order. To create a new production, you're going to hit this button here. And then if you want to adjust your account settings, go to your name in the upper right corner, click on My Account. There you can change your subscription plan. You can change some of the settings, go in and change your password if you need to, or go back to your production. So if you have any questions about your account, just go to that button here. Now I'm going to give you a little tip. See this button here on the right side. If you ever get lost in the app, just hit this button and this will take you on a little tour around that page, showing you all the different things that you can do on that page. Also, the button next to it is a little video tutorial. So if you didn't get enough of me here today, you'll get more a description really in detail of everything that can be done on that page. So if you ever get lost, go over here and either watch the video or take the little tutorial there. Also, there's a number of video tutorials. You can always link to that, and you can always reach out to our office address or give us a call, and we're happy to screen share and show you around. But as you're looking at your app, you're either going to create a new production by hitting this button here. I'm going to skip that for a second and show you something that's already been done. This is a fake musical called The Hit that we're going to utilize. When you first open up something that's been created, you'll see along the left side a list. This is the scene list that I've created. And if I open that first scene, the opening number, you'll see along the left side, these are thumbnails. This is the bird's eye view of the script. This allows you to track all the moving pieces of your production, all the scenery, all the actors, all the people moving around the page. I'm going into lock mode, and I'm just by using my arrow keys, I'm just jumping from chart to chart. If you look in the bottom right corner, you'll see the number changing, 111, 112, 113. So it allows you to go through and really track all the moving pieces, the props, the people, the scenery at any given moment in time. And you can track here what it is. We're in the opening position here, or we're in the third count of 8. We're moving down the steps, we're in the pre-box position. That's something that you'll actually fill out. So any given chart has 3 aspects to it. There's 3 layers to a chart. The bottommost layer is what I call the permanent layer. That's the stuff that doesn't move. The proscenium, the edge of the stage, those you actually put in somewhere else. I'll show you in a little bit. And then there's the scenic layer where you can actually move the scenery around. And then there's the performer layer where you can move the actors, the performers, the props around. Across the top here, you can find your way around. You can either lock and go into just going, if you're on your iPad, just swipe with the finger, or 2 fingers jump scene to scene, or you can use these buttons or your arrow keys on your computer. If you unlock that, that means you can go in and edit. I can change what view. So right now we're looking at the chart view. If I wanted to look at the script, I would just hit the script and that would jump me over to the script. For now, let's stick with the charts. And on the charts, I can add new charts. I can zoom in on the chart. I can choose what layer I want to work with. Now, that's one of the most important things when you first open a chart. Make sure you've selected one of the 2. I'm going to select the performer layer, which is the top number. Now, once I've selected that, I can grab Alex and move Alex around and Brad around and Carrie, and I can basically drag any of the actors around to any position that I want them to be in, right? So basically I'm creating a stage picture. You notice as I move Carrie, the number changes from 0 to 1 to 3. That's because Carrie's attached to the number line that I've identified at the bottom. You can turn that off if you don't use number lines, but to create a stage picture where nobody's standing directly in front of each other, oftentimes we'll utilize that. So that allows you to create the picture of where those actors are at any given moment in time. Now, same rule applies for the scenery. If I go up here to the right and I activate the scenic layer up here, now instead, I can't grab the actors now, but I can grab the scenery. So these staircases, I can move around. I can, take around and put in different positions. So they live on separate layers. That way I don't inadvertently grab the actor when I was meaning to grab the set piece. Now you can do lots of things back to the performer layer. If I select, more than one actor, I can actually copy and paste them. I can move them. See this button here? This is where I can either show or hide the chart tools box. So if I hit that, you'll notice at the bottom, this box appears down there. And these are the things I can do with the things that I have selected. I can cut them, I can copy them, I can make them into a group. So if I do group, now I've selected these 4 people and I can say, as a group, keep your formation, but just move upstage. Or I can say, rotate on the turntable if there's a turntable, and make them as a group or not, right? So that gives me that opportunity. Anything you select, whatever possibilities you have to edit will appear down here. I can cut, I can copy. So say I want to copy Carrie. Now, once I've copied it, now I can paste Carrie. So now I have 2 Carries, and I can put Carrie there and Carrie there. I can clear the selection that I've had. So if whatever I've selected, I can edit. If I want to rotate Alex 10 degrees at a time, I can do that, or back to 0. So essentially, if you're keeping track of actors blocking, what you're going to do is be making lots and lots of charts. So say, for example, maybe this is the first position everybody goes to. What you're going to want to do is you're going to add the next chart. So this button here, add a new chart. I have options. I can add a blank chart, and if I do that, that'll create a duplicate of all the permanent things, but it'll erase all the actors and all the scenery. I didn't really want to do that. I want to just make the next chart. So I could make a duplicate chart. A duplicate chart will copy everything on that page except for any text boxes or any arrows that have been drawn. So I'm going to add a next chart. The next chart copies everything except for the text box and the arrows. And that's what I want to use for that, because now Alex just simply goes to center and Romeo goes there. And now I can add yet another next chart. And let's say Carrie doesn't like Romeo and Carrie goes up there. And now I add the next chart. And now I can utilize my shape tool here. I can use my freehand arrow and I can draw Alex's pathway. Say Alex goes off stage left by going around those people. I can draw that, and then see down here at the bottom, I can save that. Now that's saved as its own object. So I've saved Alex's crazy pathway. I'm going to go ahead and delete that for now. But you can easily just freehand draw. There's lots of tools, shapes you can utilize here on the chart. I could also, just going across the top, I can zoom in if I'd like to get a little closer look. I can zoom in or zoom out if I'm, looking at people. Scenic layer we talked about. Now I can add media. If I have a YouTube clip or a little clip of the choreography, I can just drop a URL in here and that'll just pop up there, an easy reminder of what that choreography was. Shapes we talked about, you can add and utilize. There's a lot of set pieces that just come with the app, chairs and beds and staircases that can just be utilized, for your purposes. You can add text boxes if you want to add, maybe detail about he picks up the chair, and that, you add that text box and maybe that's what Carrie does. So, and I can just resize that so it looks like I want it to do. So if I want to describe any of the things that Carrie's doing, I can do that easily, with a text box there. On the performer layer, if I want to add another performer, I just hit this button, the green room pops up, and let's say I need Vera. And if I hit Vera, Vera will appear center stage, and then I'll put Vera where Vera goes. Maybe I need Ryan. So you can just grab them from the green room. When you don't need the green room, just hit that button again and it'll disappear. Undo button, redo button. This button across the top either hides those chart tools or not. This link I'll show you in a little bit. If you have different versions of the same chart, it'll allow you to go back and choose which version of the chart you want. If you want to save your work, just hit that button. You'll notice as I'm working though, if anything that changes, there's a little timer that goes down, that red bar. As it goes down, it's gonna save every 10 seconds or so. If I want to create a PDF, I can easily do that by hitting this button. It'll create a PDF that I could download. If I want to control my collaborators and edit those collaborators, I can do that here, and I can look at my settings here. So lots of tools here on this page here. As I mentioned in the bottom right corner, chart 1.4, that's the fourth chart in scene 1. Now in the Q line, this is where you're going to type however you want to remember this position. This could be the button of the number, whatever you want to type in there, just as a reminder to yourself. And on the bottom left corner will be the name of the scene that you have typed in there. Now you can easily delete, move any of these charts. If I look at the bottom left corner and I hit move, delete, if I don't like chart 1.4, if I select it, I can either move it to a different scene or I can delete it and it'll just delete it from the scene. And then I hit done and now that chart is gone. Let's say I'm going to delete that one that I added that I don't need. I can just go delete now 1.4, delete that and hit done. And now that's gone. So it allows you to really have control over those charts. And then each scene, you know, of course, has different, you know, you can do that, you know, as many times as you have moves in the show. So that's really one aspect of Stage Right. That's the charts. Another aspect is the script. So what I can do is I can upload a PDF of my script into the production, and I can go in and I can add my light cues and my sound cues, and I can highlight lines. I can make my calling book with this, with all of this. Actors utilize this. They can highlight their lines really easily. So I've put it in lock mode, looking at 2 charts at a time, but it's pretty easy. You can go in and there's a bookmark setting, so I can jump to a certain part of the set of the show by bookmarks, and you can add your own bookmarks. Easy to edit and add a bookmark. If I want to edit here, I click here and say new bookmark. And now that's a new, and I've added yet another one when you're done. So then that ends in, and it'll give you a little new bookmark so you can jump to that page in the script. Here's where you would import your script, or you could just simply replace a page or insert a page or delete the current page. That's really helpful. Then as far as adding blocking or light cues and that kind of thing, that's what these buttons here. If I want to add some action, say I'm going to create on the word right, these things happen. He picks up the chair and to stage left. So I can type that in there. And then basically it's just a text box. I can resize it. I can move it to a different page. I can move the anchor. Maybe maybe it all happens with everything's lovely. So you can really customize this to, you know, use whatever white space you have on the page. Same rule applies if you're entering cues. I can add a light cue. Let's say on the word Babby, light cue 121. On the word asleep, I just draw a box around asleep, 122. Draw a box around sky, 122.5. So pretty quickly you can add your light cues to this. I can also add text boxes. Let's say I'm just going to draw warning rail 2. And I can move this text box to sort of look like it's connected to that. So you can add text boxes. You can highlight your lines. I could go in if I'm playing Ailey and I just highlight my lines there. Right. I can also, if you're in a hurry, I'm just go to another page. If you're in a hurry and you want to hand draw stuff, I can go to my freehand drawing tool here. And so I can just simply go, okay, on the word forward, there's a cue. Daydreams, there's a cue. On start, there's a cue. So you can just hand draw if you want. Now, over here on the right side, if I want to, you know, stop drawing, I can hit that, or I can change the color of my drawing if I want. But if I disable the drawing, now I can actually select that and go, I don't need that anymore. And this X here will erase that stroke. Or if I want to erase everything I wrote on that page, it'll ask me if I'm sure, and I'll say yes, and those markings will go away. So you can easily hand draw those things on there. Page numbers, if you want to just jump, you know, using the arrow cues, or if you want to go to page 45 and go, it'll jump you to there if you don't want to use the bookmark tool. Great, so that's the script. And now what you do is you can actually link these all together. So let me jump back to maybe this page here. And so if I go to, in the view, if I go to charts and script together, you'll see on the left side, these are all the thumbnails of the charts that I created. And on the right side is my script. And what I can do is just by clicking and dragging and selecting a portion of that page, and then I drag that chart into that box. Now I say those charts are connected to that part of the script. So now if I were to jump back to my script view, you can see now chart 1.1 and 1.2. If I click on that, it's going to jump me over to chart 1.1. Now up here, if I want to go back, I can go link back to page 4 in the script, so on and so forth. So that way you can actually be working back and forth and make changes to any of the blocking and then jump right back to that page in the script, so you can keep working and writing notes that way. So that's how you kind of work all of those items together. Again, like I said before, if you have questions, these little tutorials can walk you through what each of the buttons does. And then the one next to it will do a little video explaining, you know, how to work all the things on that page. Same thing applies for charts and scripts. So you can really find your way around pretty easily. I'm going to jump just quickly to if you were going to start from scratch, since it seems like many of you may be. So if I'm going to do, let's say I'll call it the New Hit Musical, and I'm going to choose charts and script. That means I'm going to upload a PDF of my show. The score is something we'll go into a different day. The staging score, which is a really wonderful way to document every detail. But if you're going to be using a PDF of your script, you're going to choose charts and script and then just hit add. Okay, so now that takes you to this page and you'll basically fill in the details here. You can write in the book writer, who wrote the music, the lyrics, who's directing. If you have a logo, you can upload it here. I'm going to jump to the next step, which is the stage dimension. So you can make this feet, meters, whatever you work in. And then you're just going to decide, you know, what's the size of the space you're working in. Let's say I'm going to do a proscenium show. Let's say my proscenium is 38 feet wide. And maybe the depth of it's, let's say 31. And then off stage, I'm going to choose to show maybe 9 feet on either side of the stage. So those are my dimensions I've chosen, and you can make it anything you want it to be. If I hit permanent stage edit, now you can see this is the grid that popped up. Those are the dimensions I just entered. So 38 feet wide makes my number line go out to 19. I've got 31 feet deep and I'm showing 9 foot in either wing. So now from here, anything you put on this stage, on this permanent layer, is going to show up on every single chart. So if I use my shapes and let's just choose a line, I can pretty easily just draw a wing. And let's say I'll copy and paste that wing, and I'll paste another wing. Great. Now, so I've got 3 wings, and I can select all 3 of them, copy all 3 of them, paste, drag that to the other side of the stage. So now pretty easily, there you go. There I've got my proscenium show, and there I've got my legs. So that's how you could do it if you don't have, you know, the scenic designer's plans. If you're lucky and you do, you could actually import their design. So let me show you how that works. So if you've got this grid, see this button here, you're going to import the scenic design. I'm going to just select the image, say from the ground plan, and the scenic designer has sent me this JPEG, this PDF, which I made into a JPEG, and I'm just going to put that into the program. Now, I don't know the dimensions of all those things, but I do know one dimension. And so that's all you need. If I'm going to hit this button, measure from image, let's say the one thing I know is that this proscenium opening is 38 feet wide. Or it could be any dimension. You can measure anything on this page. And then so I enter that, whatever is in red is 38 feet wide. And I just say, use those values. So it does the rest of the math for you. That means the whole image is 65 and 7.5 inches and 40 and 4 inches wide. And I'm just going to say, great, and save. And now what that has done, it has now imported to the dimension onto my ground plan there. Okay, now that'll appear on every single chart that I put, you know, into the production. If I go back, set pieces, I can do the same thing. I can import a JPEG of the image, or I could create a set piece. If I create, I have this little grid here. I can utilize some of the shape tools. Let's say I'm going to build a palette. Maybe my palette is 10 by 10. So I draw it between 10 and 10. And maybe I'm going to use some of the set pieces. I'm going to use a bed. and I'm going to use a stool. Great. So I say that's on my palette, and then I'm going to give it a name and a size. Hospital unit. And the size is going to be 10 feet by 10 feet. What that means, it's going to crop everything that's between 0 and 10 here and 0 and 10 there. And if I hit save, now that has saved as its own individual unit, so I can drag that around the space like I would any of the scenery. Performer icons, you can import somebody's headshot if you want, or you can simply add icons. So let's say we're going to have the Jeff icon. Let's say I'm a circle. You can change the color. With the slider, I can make the J nice and big. And then when I'm happy, I hit save. And so you have your performers. Next thing is scene. So I'm going to just double click, opening scene 2, scene 3. Chart settings. So here's where you can set either show the number line or hide the number line. If you don't want to see the center line, you can turn all of the grid lines on or not. You can have automatic chart numbering or just use your own manual system. You can change your point of view from the audience's point of view to the performer's point of view. I'm going to just do that. So we've been looking at it from the audience's point of view, but if I were to open it up now and be in that point of view, it will flip it around the other way, right? So that's easy to do. Oh, I haven't added any scenes, that's why. So once you've added scenes here, so there's my scene list, right? I open it up, there's no charts in there. What do? I'm going to add a blank chart. So I add that, and there it is. There's my chart, looking at it from the performer's point of view. And so now I've selected the performer. I'm going to hit the green room. Let's send Jeff to center stage. And there's Jeff. He's going to hang out over there, right? So I can pretty easily, track those images there. So that's a great way to utilize your chart settings. So if you want to switch it back to the audience point of view, that's easy to do. You can turn off the floating number that's over the performer if you want, if you don't want to use it. If you want to get more detailed about their 1.5 number or their 1 3/4, you can change the amount of detail here. If you want to show the body direction, you can turn that on there as well. So lots of tools you can utilize that way as well. My collaboration settings, so I can easily add collaborators. I would just go in, add somebody's email address, and I can give them as much access as I want. I can make them a master collaborator, meaning they have access to everything. I can restrict a PDF creation, meaning that I would have to approve it if they want to make a print of the PDF, and I would choose a watermark that would be printed on their PDF. I can also, give them full access to edit all the components, or I can make it a limited view so they can only view the script and view the charts, but not actually make notes that change. I can really make it customized, make sure somebody gets a private copy of the script, or I can share my copy of the script with them, whichever you want. And then I can give them access to, edit charts or turn off certain charts. So whatever amount of access you want them to have, and then hit save, and this will appear in their box. And if you want to stop collaborating, you would just hit stop collaborating, and you can do it that way. In the user settings here, you can actually set what size you want the text boxes to be, what color you want it to be. So if you want, light cues to be a certain size and a certain color, you can, detail that for your own personal uses. This button here, copy production, is great if you want to change the dimensions, super easy to do. Or if you want to transfer this production to somebody else, you would just hit there, or delete the production, you can do that all there. So here, once you've gone through your settings, here we are. There's that first chart we created. And then second scene, I haven't added any charts yet, but it's pretty easy to go. I'm going to add another chart, and Jeff goes over there, and the next chart. And now Jeff goes up there on the next chart. So it's pretty easy to, track all the blocking that way. Okay, now jumping over to script, I can go into script. This doesn't have a script imported yet, so I would just go to this icon here. I'm going to import a new script, and I'm just going to choose something, and I upload that here. It takes a second, and it'll just process it and get it into the system. And now once it's there, then I can go in and I can begin, making my notes and highlighting my lines. So if I'm going to be that, and I can make my cues. one. Right, so you can customize it that way, and I can start linking my charts together. Now it's pretty easy to, once you've made your notes, to go in and if I use this a lot because I work on new musicals a lot. Somebody changes the lyric and we get a new page. It's super easy without having to redo all your notes. You can just simply go in and replace the current page with the new PDF, and it keeps all your notes, so you don't have to keep redoing your notes over and over. So that's a key moment. You can also insert a new page or delete the current page. So it gives you really good flexibility, you know, in terms of those things too. Saving your work, I mentioned, I think earlier, it automatically saves about every 10 seconds, but feel free to do that. Creating PDFs, you can create a PDF of just the charts, of just the script, and of the charts and the script combined together. So if you do want to make a PDF and see them, you know, side by side together, it's pretty easy to do that as well. I'm going to show. Let me show you what that looks like. I think I have something open I can show you. Here's something that I worked on earlier. This is a PDF of Big Fish that I worked on Broadway. So you can see on the left-hand side, that's the charts, and I can't scroll this way. And on the right-hand side is the script. And so the charts live on one side and the script lives on the other side. So if you ever do print a hard copy, this chart is printed and that's what's connected to all the details on that side. So as you're looking at the page, it really all looks, you know, at the same time, at the same place. So you can create your PDFs really pretty easily up there by doing that. Let's see, what questions are out there? Those who are asking questions. Alex is asking, is it possible to change the dimensions of something once you have set it? Yeah, thanks for asking that, Alex. It is possible. Once you have set something on the stage, let me go to my charts here for a second. Once you have set something on the stage, and since I imported this ground plan, if I go to my settings over here on the right, stage dimensions, you're gonna notice that it's not gonna let me make that change. That's because as soon as I've entered something, it's locked in those dimensions. If I changed it, it would get confused. And so there's two ways to do it. The easiest way is to simply go copy production, and I'm gonna say new size, call it something else. And then I'm gonna change the dimension here. I can make this 45 and 28, whatever you want it to be. That's the easiest way. It'll make an exact duplicate of it, but it will change the dimensions for you. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is by just deleting whatever set piece has been imported. So it's super easy to do. I could go to the set piece and I have those two set pieces. I can just go here, delete, delete. And I would have to also delete the scenes that I created. One, yeah, it's giving me the warning that I did that. And then now if I've deleted those scenes and those charts, now you'll notice I can go in and I can make changes to it there. So yeah, the truth is once you've added something or created a chart in that dimension, if you want to change it, either easiest is to just do a copy production and change the dimension, or if you haven't gotten far at all, you can go in and just delete those few things and go back and forth until you're happy with the dimensions of the things that you've seen. A couple other things just while we're here chatting. There's lots of tools on the website that you could certainly utilize. On our website is a whole set of support here. So if you go to the website, stagerightsoftware.com, and do get help, here you're going to see there's two great little tutorials to get you started. Introduction to StageRight, that's one great way. And then part two, it'll just kind of help you step by step. It's kind of what I've been doing here today, but you can do it slowly and it'll answer those questions. So that's super easy. Also, if you want to just schedule a session, just drop us an email. There's a whole catalog of video library. So all these video tutorials there on this page there. So pretty much every question you have will be somewhere in one of those videos. But if you do have questions and you need help and you need information, don't hesitate to reach out to us. If you always go to your home page, you'll see our email here, office@stagerightsoftware.com. Drop us an email. We'll find a time to screen share with you and walk through it all together. But thank you so much for joining today. Hope this has been helpful for you. And if you have additional questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thanks.